Hafslahale, Carolyn DeFord, Seed Stas, Puyallup, Chud, Squale, Chud, Tool Alt Chud, Tahoma. My name is Carolyn DeFord. I'm Puyallup and Nisqually. I'm currently in the Tacoma area. Thank you for hearing us today and taking the time to listen to House Bill 2951 this morning. I'm here as family of women who have been missing and gone murdered, and as an advocate for families of missing and murdered Indigenous people. I'm here to be a voice for those people who can no longer be here. This issue is really close to my heart. My mother, Leona Kinsey, went missing October 25th, 1999. She went to the store and she was scheduled to meet a friend immediately after, and when she didn't show up to meet her friend, we knew something was wrong. She had a lot of pets, and those pets were the good kids. She left the pets in the house and unattended, and that was our second indicator that something was wrong. She would never, ever leave the pets in the house unattended for very long. Her car was found 4 days later in the same store parking lot, and we had to argue with the police to make a missing persons report. I had to justify that she was missing, that something was wrong, and the whole time the case was downplayed, and it was not a priority for them. They didn't believe that she went missing. They thought maybe she had just ran away and left, just disregarded what family was saying. Her case is currently a cold case, and yet I feel that there's a cause for more investigating, because people have come forward with information and people have threatened other women in that community that I'll do you like I did Leona. They had somebody come forward with information on a search area, and the police took cadaver dogs out there, and they found evidence. The cadaver dogs hit positive on 3 sites. All two dogs hit positive on the 3 sites consistently, but they weren't able to find any remains. There's also a pond in that area, and the person who came forward with the information to search that area used the Spanish word for well, and so they believe she may be in that pond. It's been 12 years, and there have been 0 efforts to look in that pond. What is the priority there? If that was their mother, they would get the resources available to look in that pond. It's a life is not a matter of money on that issue. She falls under so many of the risk factors that cause our women to go missing. She's a survivor of domestic violence. She was involved in substance abuse. She had a history in that community where I feel that the police department in that area kind of victim blamed her. You know, we see that in the news all the time, and justified that that's why she's missing, and it wasn't a priority to find her. My cousin Lenore Davis was murdered in June 2002. She responded to a request from one of her dear friends to escape. She needed help escaping domestic violence. When she arrived to the place to help her friend leave, she was shot in the back and killed. The impact that this has on our families, it perpetuates the historical trauma that our communities are already dealing with. You think about our families who have children who grow up having lost their mothers, young children. They grow up knowing what happened and using their imaginations when they don't know what happened. And I guarantee there's not any more brutal stories than you can think of what happened to somebody than what goes through your imagination when you try and wonder and you watch a horror story, or you watch shows on Lifetime like Snapped. And those fathers that are left behind to pick up those pieces and heal their children and heal themselves, and the impact that that has on those babies growing up. And knowing that nobody has done anything. The places that are in protection to help them, the pieces that are there to help them, fail. Any family of who goes missing and murdered and goes through that journey has the same sense of panic and crisis, regardless of your race. The same sense of chaos and whirlwind. You're thrust into a whirlwind of having to be in 1,000 places at 1,000 times, and you can't think to eat, let alone put posters up. This journey, our cases are demeaned and they're vastly under-investigated and written off. We're discarded and passed off as someone else's problems. It's federal problem, it's a state problem, it's a city problem, it's a tribal problem. Nobody wants to help us fix the problem. And when you're in chaos, you can't fix that yourself. The stories, if at all when publicized, cause more pain as we watch our loved ones be victim blamed, making their loss justified to the community or to law enforcement or to the public, and the real issue of violence against women is discarded. The system that claims to protect us fails, and it fails time and time again. Washington State Patrol claims poster distribution investigation, and when you look at their website, it shows these services that they provide, but if you talk to the families of the missing and ask them if they've received those services, ask them what services they have received, because they haven't. They haven't. My friend Kayla was here testifying on her auntie who went missing in November, and she had to sit at the library with her phone in crisis and chaos and everything that was going on in her head and try and make her own poster. They're lucky if they receive a phone call back. There's no poster distribution. We do our own poster distribution because nobody does that for us. It's false advertising and it's false hope. And it's one more thing that hurts because you put your faith in the system that they're going to help us, because it says right there on the website, .gov, that you're going to help, and you don't. We're citizens of a sovereign nation, nations within a nation, dependents of and under the protection of the United States. Yet when our citizens are victim of violent crime, they're not afforded a thorough investigation. Our nations are not even given the simple respect of a proper notification. There's no due diligence to identify us as natives and to identify where our families and our tribes come from and to notify our tribes. Some states don't even have a box to recognize us. We're not protected, and this is evident in the lack of response by law enforcement and the laws that are in place to protect us. We grow up knowing that we're not safe because we see it in our aunties and our sisters and our mothers who are taken violently and brutally or simply just vanish. Norma Harris went missing November 2017. Lisa Davis was murdered June 2017. Teresa Davis was murdered in 1973, went missing in 1973. We currently have a list on the clearinghouse of about 60 people in Washington State who have been missing. Yet when you receive information from somebody within Washington State Patrol, there's over 100 missing Native Americans in Washington. We only have 34 of them in NamUs. We're the second highest state in the country with missing Native Americans, and NamUs with only 34. So the underreporting and the inaccuracy in reporting, it speaks for itself within the numbers. Thank you for hearing us today, and I hope that your hearts are with us and do good work for us and help to protect our families.
Thank you.
Oh,